More than 20 million people have died from AIDS since the pandemic was first discovered in the early 80s. In Zambia, the HIV and AIDS epidemic is the most serious challenge ever faced since the country attained independence from Britain in 1964. HIV and AIDS epidemic has been wreaking havoc in Zambia for almost 2 decades now. The consequence has been widespread death and massive suffering among our people. Thousands of our people have lost their lives and many more thousands will face this same sad predicament. According to both the world and national statistics, the young people are the most affected. They are also the world's greatest hope in the struggle against this fatal disease. In the last couple of years, there has been an increase in awareness and commitment to combating this deadly disease, and the results are there for everyone to see. Important pronouncements have been made as to how much the whole world has done in the fight against HIV and AIDS. But wait a minute. There is one forgotten face in the fight against HIV and AIDS, and these are the rural areas. There is no doubt that many interventions have indeed overlooked these communities.
According to the National Youth Policy, it shows that the situation in Zambia has actually changed. The number of the youths that are living in towns, and also the number of the youths that are living in the rural communities out there, the policy says it's now 50-50, so that's the same. So yes, many interventions have concentrated so much in towns and cities, but us as community youth mobilization, we are guided by this policy and also the strategic plan from the National AIDS Council, which says that go out there and help the young people that are living in the rural communities. So that's why we are out there in the rural communities.
While we are moving forward in the fight against HIV and AIDS in urban areas, it is also vital that we take a journey back and look at the HIV and AIDS crisis in the rural communities. One of the organizations leading the way to combat the spread of HIV and AIDS in rural areas is Community Youth Mobilization, or CYM.
Community Youth Mobilization, CYM, is an indigenous non-governmental organization that is operating here in Central Province. And this was the organization that was started by a group of young people who felt that the fight against HIV and AIDS often ignored the rural youth and the wider community, the wider rural community. So at CYM, we designed a very comprehensive community program that is culturally sensitive, that works with and for the young people out there in the rural communities. So this is a project that we are operating in Central Province, and the young people are actively taking part in it, and we are happy so far with the way that it is running.
Everybody this one! This one! 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 Everybody there!
Just how is community youth mobilization intervening in the HIV and AIDS crisis in rural areas?
We are intervening in the HIV and AIDS crisis in the rural areas by using 3 projects. The first program is a community HIV and AIDS intervention program. So this is a program that focuses on the rural young people. This program has got different activities that are all aimed at promoting behavior change among the rural young people. The second program is a community health and education nutrition program. So this program, it's a program that seeks to improve both access to treatment of HIV and AIDS and the nutritional status of people who are infected and affected by HIV and AIDS, especially the children. This program also has a component of education. So you find that there are a lot of orphans and vulnerable children who are unable to go to school. So this program helps them to get back to school by way of providing them a scholarship. The third program is a life skills program in community schools. So it is known as the community schools program. So this program facilitates life skills to community school children with a strong focus on HIV and AIDS.
Just how are these 3 projects organized? Community HIV and AIDS Intervention Program, CHIP, Community Health, Education and Nutrition Program, CHEN, Community Schools Program, CSP. CYM has realized that lack of infrastructure in rural areas is one of the reasons why non-governmental organizations fighting HIV and AIDS fail to take their interventions to rural areas. Therefore, among the strategies of Community HIV and AIDS Intervention Program is infrastructure development. The organization mobilizes rural community residents to build youth centers for all its HIV and AIDS intervention activities.
See, it's quite exciting to note that the members of the wider rural communities are ready to do something to secure a future rural society that is free from HIV and AIDS. One thing we wish to know about CYM is that before we scale up our intervention activities, we agree with all stakeholders at community level, and these include the parents and the young people, that they are going to build a center which will become just a place where all our HIV and AIDS intervention activities are managed from. And it's so amazing, you know, because these centers don't cost much, less than $1,000 only. It's so amazing.
But just how does this all start? As the Executive Director, Mr. Msonda, has explained, CYM mobilizes community members, both the young and the old. They mold the bricks and start building. The end results from this community effort are these buildings known as the youth centers. They indeed become centers of HIV and AIDS activities in the community. Inside the youth center, you'll find a resource room, which is complete with chairs, tables, and shelves. The centers are also equipped with all necessary HIV and AIDS information materials such as books, posters, flyers, booklets, games on HIV and AIDS, and many more.
In this resource center, we have got a variety of materials on HIV/AIDS. People from the community come to read these materials and ask many questions.
We also have gatherings here in the resource center with the youths. We have gatherings on Tuesdays and Thursdays, teaching them about HIV and AIDS issues. We also have sports behind the resource center. There's a football pitch behind. We have sports there. We also have lessons with the antenatal mothers who come. There's a clinic. So antenatal mothers come, then we conduct lessons with them.
We've also got a VCT room. It was set up by MSF Spain. We are doing partnership with them. And then they also trained me as a counselor. And then I test people every day. And then here I'm just waiting for their results. And then we have been receiving overwhelming response. And then in a weekly basis, we test about 15-20 people. So it's really good, as in to see the community members coming out in such large numbers. As in monthly basis, we report about 70, 80, so it's really a challenge.